And we also have, of course, the beer to make all this much better, especially for his sake. So today we have a special guest. We have Chris, my man Chris. And we actually met Chris when we were at a speaking engagement not too long ago at the Men's Health Summit. What struck me about Chris was his story. Definitely coming from an executive background. What he's going to talk about today is one moment in his life that changed everything, that got him into fitness, that got him into boxing, that now he's one of the most well-featured fitness instructors over here in New York City. His Instagram, his social media is blowing up right now. And he's well known over at Barry's and a couple other local gyms. So Chris, it's a pleasure to have you, man. We have, like I said, the Gyminie's protein cookies, the actual dry roasted crickets, and we also have, of course, the beer to make all this much better, especially for his sake. Tell us a little bit, Chris, about your background and where you started, where the whole the lawyer thing even struck your interest.
Yeah, well, number one, you way oversold me on how much hype there is about me, first of all. Number two, I'm very excited for this cookie. I'm very not excited for fucking bowl of bugs on my table.
You got it, bro.
Excuse my French. I'm sorry, we shouldn't swear on this. So I grew up in Toronto. It was an amazing place to be from. It's an incredibly multicultural city. It's got a ton going on, arts. It's got a huge financial market. So for me, I just felt like I was always a little ADD there, and I was a little bit fast paced for wherever. I think often a lot of people feel this way, whether you're born a small town, big city, wherever you're from. And so I just always look to New York as this beacon of that's the place to go if you really want to be a badass. That's the place to go if you want to see if you're as dope as you think you are.
Right.
Or if you want to disprove all of your biggest fears coming from the other side.
Yeah. Okay. So is Canada, is it fast paced like New York City, or?
It is, honestly, Toronto, it is very fast paced. And as far as the rest of Canada goes, they consider it Toronto's crazy, it's too much, it's a big city. But when you're born in Toronto, it's kind of I always likened it to if you're born in a small town outside of a mid-sized city, let's say, then ending up in that mid-sized city is sort of what you do after college, right? And to me, I was born in a big city with this bigger city 7 hours down the road. So I was it kind of, to me, I saw New York as I gotta figure out a way to do that.
Right, okay.
And then the second part of it was just I grew up with my mom and my sister, and we didn't have a lot of money. So it was kind of if you're smart enough to do something where you can get a degree, I always kind of had this mentality of and my mom was super supportive. She was an artist and a social worker herself.
I love that.
So I saw her all of the, I don't know if you'd see the art, but all the art in my apartment was my mom's, and she's incredibly talented.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though she always was very supportive about being follow your dream, do what feels like you, there was always this feeling of if you don't have a ton of money, it's if you're capable of being a doctor or a lawyer, that's what you have to do. So I went to law school out there, got recruited to a big firm here, and did it for 3-4 years, almost 4 years. And I never once, I was not miserable a lot of people that go into law are I'm so overworked, it's the worst, it's this, it's that. And I was I'm happy, my life is fine. What I'm doing for a job, personally, it wasn't meaningful at all. And that's not a slight on the law. I think it's super important what people around me were doing. I was working in multi-billion-dollar lawsuits and securities litigation.
Wow. And was that since day one, since you first started that career full time, it just wasn't fulfilling?
Yeah, I think I kind of.
Or was it until a couple months into it?
I mean, it's tough to say because all my experience, since I was 14, I had just worked as a manual laborer. I worked in construction, I worked in factories, I worked contractor, stuff like that, landscaping. Just anything, I always thought, okay, if you need money, you have a body, you just use it to get money.
Yeah, right.
So then I remember, I became a personal trainer, honestly, because I was I could be in air conditioning one summer, so I tried that out. And that's how I got, that's how I went to get certified in Toronto originally, and then, kind of went back to construction for a bit, and then so when I came to law, I just had no idea what it was. I had no like precedent really to set to be like, oh, I have like, I could see like a parent that did this job for a while. I could see kind of what it entails, or like I've done an internship or something. Like I hadn't had any of that, so I was like,
Right.
okay, this is how you put a tie on. This is
Yeah,
how you
you
show
look
up.
sharp. Okay.
That's how you
Right.
look good. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, good.
So
And then so you started law, but you were already into fitness before that. Is that right? Or
yeah.
okay, so you're already hands-on. You're already used to working in the sun, doing constructive work.
Yeah.
Very just like almost like blue collar work, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know.
I was always proud of that too.
And that's
I came from educated parents, but I was like, I did blue collar work, and I like that. Like, I was like,
Isn't this crazy? Because I feel like me and you almost have like the same story. Because I went into my academics profession actually trying to find the occupation that paid the most amount of money, and it would take me the shortest amount of time for me to get that degree. In Texas, oil and gas is huge, and that was my big motivation. I had no fulfillment in that field, but I just knew that was the profession that would make the most amount of money, and coming from a family that didn't have a lot of stuff, that's all I wanted to give my family. So I feel like I relate to you a lot, coming from the lower class, that was the motivation to go even into school and then go into that full-time career. Let's talk a little bit about like some life-changing things that happened for you that kind of just derailed that whole thing, slapped you in the face, and woke you up to really do what you're passionate about doing. So talk to us a little bit about that and how that kind of came together.
Yeah, I like literally slapped me in the face.
Yeah, right.
I had this friend growing up. It was my best friend since I was like in grade school, and he was just like that guy that was like the most like the closest person that you know that exists. That's like Superman in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just this dude that was like, he was the strongest dude on our football team. He was the quickest guy on our rugby team. He was also just insanely intelligent, but like he didn't care about proving it in school. He was the kind of guy who was like, well, if I move to do something in school, I'll do it. Kind of thing.
Wow.
Insanely talented with his hands. Like he and I were contracting together, and our boss wanted to make him like an owner in the company, and he was like, with me, he's like, just take care of Chris. Just make sure Chris is okay. And I was like decent, but it was like that's like the sort of disparity.
Okay, disparity. Got it.
He was that guy. Like I remember describing it. He was that guy that would like when he walked down the hall, like girls would be upset if he didn't say hi to them. You know what I mean? Like every girl's in love with him, every guy was like looked up to him a little bit, and he was
So this was like this idol.
He was like
He was like kind of like an older brother figure for a lot of
It was
people.
weird being best friends with him, because it's like you're best friends with a guy that's like your hero a little bit.
True,
You're like,
true.
And there are moments where you're like, it really reminds you about how much of an idiot you are when you're like, okay, like I just asked him a question and I'm just like, this is so beneath him. Like he taught me how to drive stick. And he was like a father figure to me back then too. He's like, I've got a great relationship with my dad now, but I wasn't close with him when I was a kid. Adrian was kind of like, he taught me how to drive stick. He taught me to use power tools. Like I really looked up to this guy in my life. And when I was in my second or third year at law, he was diagnosed with cancer. Wow. Looked up to this guy a lot.
Good.
And so around the time he was diagnosed with cancer, I had another really good friend of mine who was a former pro baseball player, who had done this charity boxing fight with this group called Haymakers for Hope, which now I'm a part of. I'm their general counsel, so I still do a little bit of lawyering on the side.
There we go.
That's yours, man.
Wow, thank you.
I got like 1,000 more, so I'm gonna circulate those.
Haymakers for Hope. I love this.
Yes.
KO Cancer.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so good. So then talk about your journey with that.
So with that, it was the kind of thing where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. At the time, I was living with an ex-girlfriend that was probably like the first big like love of my life, and she was like, "There's no way I'm gonna let you go get beat up in the ring." Like even though I'd done some tournament fighting since I was a kid, I'd always done martial arts and stuff. I just hadn't done it for a long time, and so she was like, "No way." I was like, "Okay," but then at the same time,
this is the moneymaker, right?
Well, this is the one, yeah.
yeah. She didn't want that to get messed up at all.
That's probably what it is. She's like, yeah, I don't want it. Like, I don't want a boyfriend or the brother.
Exactly. Okay. That's the real reason.
No, I mean, like, so basically I was like, okay, So her and I had broken up. We were living together at the time. It was a big break. It felt like a divorce. It was like we had like a joint bank account kind of relationship,
Oh, wow.
and like a home together. And
Okay.
so I was out on my own in New York. I just moved back to the city from Queens where we were living, and I just found this out with my buddy. And then all of a sudden I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was like, boxing kind of just saved me. Like haymakers rope just kind of saved me. Like I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd probably be like passed out in the gutter 14 times over or something from drinking, or like I don't know how I would have coped with it. I just like threw myself into this. I was still at the firm, so I would like run 3 miles to work every morning. So I'd show up late, sweaty with my shit in a backpack, and then I would leave like early to go train for 4 hours every night and spar and do all that shit for like 5 months. And eventually got to the point where like I did the fight. Adrian came down for it, and it was an amazing thing because he was like deep into chemo at that time. And it was tough. Like for him, he was just such a good-looking guy that I think like the toughest part about chemo was like losing his hair and getting like bloated in his neck and stuff. To be like, it's so easy. It was like that big. That's a big part of your identity. He was that guy that every girl looked at, and now it's like kind of he felt a little self-conscious. But it was amazing that he made the trip down, and we still had like so much fun, even though. Actually, he saved me. We took my motorcycle. He kind of taught me how to ride motorcycles too. And so I let him drive my motorcycle back to the airport with me on the back. I asked him to drive it. I was like, of course, you're the better driver. And the bike was going to fall on me at one point when we were rigging it up. And he like grabbed it with one hand halfway through chemo. He's like wasting away. He's still strong enough to like grab a half-ton motorcycle with one hand and save my leg from being broke. So I was like,
so he was kind of like that guardian angel for you.
100%. In every way, he was a hero figure to me. He was very humble about it all too. Like he would like laugh
boast
at me
about it and everything. Okay, good.
So anyway, long story long, it was he came down for the fight, and I think that he got me through that fight. I think he's the reason that I was able to win that fight in the end. Just gave me the endurance or the resilience or the spirit or whatever it was to get through. But it was tough because doing this, it's like, in retrospect, I was like, nothing I was doing directly benefited him. Like I was raising money for cancer research, but that's not necessarily going to help him right now. So it was just a real like catharsis for me, I think, to go through this. And then when he passed away, I was getting to that point in law where things were getting sticky, and it was either like you become your career or you don't. In law, it's a very linear field, so it's like if you're a securities litigator, after 3 or 4 years, you're a securities litigator. That's what you are. That's what you do.
True.
And so it was kind of nearing that point, and I was having, like, the firm could tell that I think, I was having difficult conversation with the firm because I think they could see that I was kind of half-heartedly in it.
And you're working on, like, in this moment in your life, you're working on, like, these $1 million lawsuits, right?
Yeah.
So you got even that stress, that burden on top of your shoulders, especially with your best friend passing away. So like, how did you even cope with that? Was boxing one of the big escapes that you kind of like vented out all your, depression and all your, emotions into boxing?
100%.
Oh my God. Okay.
At one point, like training for my first fight, I'm right-handed, and I was training so hard that I literally like ripped my left rotor cuff just doing pad work.
Wow.
And I had the doctor be like, you can't fight. And I was like, I need a second opinion. So he sent me to the guy that does sports medicine for the Jets, who has like a different kind of take on things because he treats professional athletes. And he was like, well, it's partially torn. You can fight, but you're definitely gonna need surgery, and I wouldn't use it very much if you fight. So I was like, okay, so I had to learn how to, like, luckily my buddy, the baseball player, Randy Newsom, was helping me train, and he sort of was like, you're able to fight southpaw, actually, just try it. And he was like, he taught me how to fight southpaw for my first fight, basically. Right. I fought left-handed as a right-handed fighter.
No way.
Just to go through it, because I was like, that's how much it meant to me at that point. Like, that's how much of my heart and soul was tied up into it. And since, it kind of realized, like, for me to care about that as much as I did, and to see how much meaning Adrian lived his life with, it was hard for me to be in a job that just didn't have meaning for me. Like, objectively, it was an incredibly important job, but personally, it had I just took on no meaning.
So when you left at 5:00 p.m., Like, what was the feeling? Were you just happy to leave?
Well, he was usually 7, but
It was usually 7. Okay, so.
But everyone else was there till like 9 or 10 p.m. So
Wow. Okay.
I'd have to sneak out. I used to sneak out with my gym clothes in like a red folder.
Wow.
And I would just put them around me, like looking like I'm going to a meeting, being like, "All right," and I'm gone. Like,
And you're over here saying like you were just in this lifestyle of drinking like 18 cups of coffee a day, going back to your office, and just like doing that rinse and repeat every single day.
100%.
So what would you tell like anyone that's listening right now that's going through that same scenario in their life, that they just feel like they're doing the same thing every day and then they're calling that a life, but they kind of want to get unplugged out of that matrix, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe they don't have a best friend that can, you know, really be that breakthrough and inspiration. So, you know, what would you tell them personally that you had to change? Because at the end of the day, you had to make the change.
What I would say is that in our lives, we kind of live in these like concentric circles that get bigger and bigger and bigger as we step outside of them. And it's really easy to get caught in this notion of like the circle that you're in is the entire universe, especially at, like in a big corporate firm. I think they really encourage that. Like you eat your meals there, you get your paycheck from there, you get your health from there, you get your life is all kind of like you're suckling off this one source almost, you know. So it honestly takes a bit of recklessness, and, like, which comes with a little bit of courage and maybe a little bit of stupidity to just step outside of it and be like, I believe that if I pivot, I can be successful at something else. Even though I put a lot into this. Yeah, fuck, hell yeah. It was like,
Weren't you like stressing about like how am I gonna pay the bills?
Dude, I left my firm. I started like looking. I was like, I should get into a different firm right away. Yeah, so just like whatever, and just to then stop and like say no to recruiters and say no to like. I was like, why do I want to be at a different firm doing something slightly different from what I was doing if really there was nothing that I found incredibly meaningful about what I was doing? So I fell back on what I knew. I just went back to the gym. I took long motorcycle rides, and I went back to the gym. I went back to the gym. And at a certain point, I think if you just throw yourself into things that you love, the universe rewards you for that. Like, I happened to be out. I was trying to get a job. I was like bartending and doing like rooftop gardening in New York, and then like I wanted to get a job bartending at this new cool spot in Oneida. I knew the owner, and she was like, "I'm only gonna let you bartend for me if you come to this like Krav Maga class." And I was like, "I don't know what Krav Maga is." Like, she's like, "But you box. I want you to combo." Well, I'm like, "Yeah, but boxing is boxing. I don't want to do this other stuff."
Wow.
So I went, and like the head of the gym took me aside after that first class. He was like, "Listen, I can tell you have a lot of martial arts stuff. Why don't you work for me?" And I was like, "I mean, I can teach fitness? Amazing." So it was like, cool. So then like that's how I started, and then a couple weeks later I was at a bar and I met these cool guys, and one of them happened to be like a head trainer at Barry's, and he was like, "Oh, you're in fitness. Why don't you come out and like you know, see if you like the Barry's experience and if you fit in well." And then like I ended up loving it so much that it became my career.
That became your lifestyle.
100%. Yeah.
We always think that once we start making those 6 figures, then we're gonna be happy.
Yeah.
You're saying that you were just as happy when you're doing your own thing, fitness instructing, than making 6 figures, being in law?
I'm much more happy. I'm so much poorer and so much happier.
Wow.
I work way more hours too. This is the funny part. Like in law, like I could kind of make my own hours to some extent because I wasn't a great lawyer, I guess. But you can kind of, in a big shop, you can kind of just go under the radar for a while and do whatever and make your paycheck.
Oh my God.
But in fitness, like I just was like, I want this, so I'm gonna say yes to everything. So like now I work the 90-hour weeks. Like now I grind like a maniac, and it's not for a 6-figure paycheck. It's to sort of, I don't know, like build up some kind of name for yourself in something where you look at yourself with respect. Like saying like I have, to me, I'm like making somebody smile. If somebody smiles and says on the way out of class, gives me a high five, I'm like, that was awesome. That's so much more important to me than winning $1 billion for some Fortune 500 company that it didn't mean much to me. Like I don't mean to downplay it. I always say this, like I have so many friends that are lawyers, and I think it's super important work. I think it's really hard work, and I think you have to have an amazing brain to do it. It's just if you can personally gain meaning from it, it's amazing. Like for me, I personally gain meaning from making people feel a little bit better about themselves on an individual level rather than like an institutional level, you know, that I used to be in, I think.
Okay.
Um,
So now it's like, instead of, proving other people wrong, it's like you want to just prove yourself right nowadays.
Yeah, at first though, definitely what you're saying, like that was there. I was like, oh my
Mhm.
god, what are my law school friends gonna think of me? Like I was
True.
lucky to go to this law
True.
school in Canada that was like it's there's basically like 2 Canadian law schools that the U.S. would recruit out of, maybe 3, and like I went to the one where they recruit the most heavily, which
Mhm.
means like on whatever index that matters to you, it's considered the best law school in Canada.
Wow.
But it's like, which is all I think bullshit, because they're all amazing and like everybody gets a great education. But it's more like the market sees this school as like the top. Like this is like the Harvard in
Mhm.
Canada. So like going to school with those kids, I was like, oh my god, like what are they gonna think of me if I drop out a lot? But they're the same kids that took pity on me when I was like, I never went to law school classes. I went to the gym. Like I was always like in the gym instead of being in class, and they would help me out studying for exams. Like, so I was like, wait a minute. At the end of the day, I think like these people are friends with me because of who I am, not because of like some title.
True.
And if anybody's friends with you because of a title, it's probably a good thing to know to kind of make new friends.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So I think
Okay.
like in the end, I just kind of let that roll off my shoulders and kept doing what I was doing until, like you said, you become mildly successful at it, and then people are like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I was worried about you for a bit, but it's cool. You made it.
Yeah. Okay, dude, I love that. Especially seeing like your motivation, because that just kind of throws some gasoline on my fire even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But let's get into this, because if you're in the fitness industry,
Yeah.
you know that food is highly important. Diet is highly important.
We always say it. You can work out as hard as you want, but it's like 80% of the game or more is how you eat.
Is how you eat. So you're pretty flexible in your diet.
I think I'm fairly flexible. I'm still kind of boring though. Like I love to just make something that I can have for the week and then just eat the same thing every
Okay.
week, so I don't have to like stress about. People love like I always say like New York's wasted on me because people love all these restaurants and this and that. Like
Mhm.
I don't ever go to a restaurant unless somebody's invited me and they picked it and I just show up and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This is like I just don't care. Like I just want like enough protein and enough energy to
Okay,
keep going
okay.
in a way. You know?
I love it.
So, and of course I like flavor. I just protein, energy, and hot sauce on everything is basically.
Okay, I love it. Buffalo sauce, or what's your top hot sauce?
I drink out of the bottle, and I'm not
Drink
joking
out of
with
the
this.
bottle?
I eat. So my like go-to snack is like just a spoonful of peanut butter now with some hot sauce on the spoon, which I know.
Whoa. Hot sauce on peanut butter?
I don't know why. I love peanut butter. I love hot sauce. So I just started to be like, oh, this would be good. And then I tried it once, like whatever, and then I was like, okay, this is amazing.
That's insane. I never would have thought of that. Sounds like you're pregnant almost, Chris.
Yeah, I might be.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to try that, because if I'm having to try bugs, I'm gonna have to try peanut butter and hot sauce when I get home.
Okay, done. Frank's Red Hot wing sauce.
Frank's Red
with
Hot,
a
yeah.
little bit of vinegar in it. I can just drink that out of the bottle. Louisiana
Oh my
hot
gosh.
sauce.
Does that speed
regular
up
Frank's-
metabolism?
No, I don't think it's good for you at all.
Okay.
And I try to. I have to supplement with like, and actually this is where it was cool that we met, because
Yeah.
I have to supplement with the amount of shit that I do in the day. I just
Yeah.
don't have time to sit down and eat that much. So
Mhm.
I'll often find I was like, shit, I haven't eaten for a couple hours, and I have to
Mhm.
like drink protein shakes
Right.
at work. Barry's has amazing protein shakes, so that's awesome that I can get out of class and be like protein bars and stuff. But then you find like with the protein bars, a lot of that stuff is like it's a ton of sugar, and it's also a lot of it's dairy based, and I have an allergy to casein, so I can do straight whey, but a lot of like the muscle milk type like protein stuff, like
Right.
a lot of like the better protein stuff that's out there that is dairy based is like casein heavy, because it's like a slow releasing protein, so
Yeah.
I have to avoid it.
Is it hard to digest, or?
Well, casein is its own specific allergy. It's like, it doesn't make you bloated or whatever like a lactose allergy would. It just is really hard on your immune system, so it starts to make you sick.
Wow.
If you have too much of it, you'll just get like whatever you're fighting, whatever virus you're fighting, you'll get sick, and then it sucks. You gotta slow down, take a few days off.
Wow. So what do you usually replace for like your casein supplements?
I used to do soy, and then I just heard enough mixed reviews on soy that it got me kind of like red flagged on it. So then I would do egg, protein, but again, I mean, I feel like you don't want to do too much of any one thing like that. So there's a lot of I don't know if they're good or not, but vegan. This is the thing, is I just don't know really.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
I'll get vegan protein mixes now, and just sort of do that.
Got it,
But
got
I
it.
don't really know what they're made out of. Like because I kind of read the back and I forget. I'm just like,
Okay.
So when you talked about crickets, I was like, that's cool because it's like, it's still meat based, but it didn't seem to have a lot of like the bad effects of what you get from cows, kind of thing,
Wow.
which was why I was like, shit, yeah, I want more of this stuff.
True. Well then let's get to it, man. Let's try both of our stuff, and
So I'll do this one, you do that one, or
I wish, bro. We're gonna split them up in half. We're both gonna have one of each.
all right.
But this one, you know, what do you think about here? I'll split this up right now.
Okay.
And then if Nolan, if you want to get some close-up shots of like, you know, putting the cookie on the plate,
Yes.
you know, so we can see what we have here is we actually have a chocolate chip protein cookie. Nothing special. But our stuff is, you know, to suit your needs. It's gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, GMO-free, and paleo-friendly.
Yes.
Chris, talk to us about what you even think about the consumption of bugs.
So when I met you,
Yeah.
and you said like this is made of crickets, my first thought was like, what the?
Wait,
you know?
what?
And then I tasted it, and I was like, that's amazing because you don't like in this. I could not tell that it was
Wow.
bugs, you know, because it's like it's still this like psychosomatic thing. You're like, oh,
True.
bugs are so gross. I don't eat bugs.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely psychological.
So to me, I'm like, whatever you want to put in here, like you put, I don't know, you could grind up a dog and put. I love dogs. I don't want to eat a dog, but whatever you want to put in
We'll
here.
edit that.
Like short of like a human, I'm like, okay, as long as it's like processed, you don't notice it. Right?
Yeah.
But when you put that on the table, I'm like, oh, okay.
We definitely piggybacked off of the sushi cuisine and the pioneers with that, because if this was 20, 30 years ago and if we're eating raw fish right here, sashimi, we would have been looked at as pioneers because everyone would have looked at us at our table like, wow, what are these guys doing? These guys are eating raw
But pioneers are like
fish.
peasants.
Yeah, pretty much. And
What's wrong with these guys? They can't afford to cook their food.
you know what I mean? And lobster was the same way. Lobster was looked at as the vermin of the sea because there was an abundance of lobster that it was just floating on the sea floor. So whenever someone saw you eating lobster, they saw it was a mark of poverty.
You had told me, like when you had described crickets in that analogy about sushi, like think about years ago when someone said you're eating raw fish, you're
Wow.
disgusting. That sort of made me start to rethink it. I'm still not ready to eat this like with excitement.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this now, I'm like, oh, there's crickets in here, no problem. Let's do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, you know what? That's the profound thing because we eat with our eyes first, whether we like it or not. You know, if it looks like aesthetically appealing, we'll eat it, no problem, even if it tastes like shit. Well, let's do this, Chris. Let's actually try the protein cookie.
All right.
Walk me through what you think about this,
Okay.
and then we'll move up to the next level. Yeah. So cheers to this, brother. Chocolate chip protein cookie. Here we go.
Look at that huge piece of chocolate.
I go for actual dark chocolate.
You know what I actually like about this? It's delicious. It's chocolate chip cookie. It's delicious. But it's not like overly sweet. You know when like if you go to a cafe or something, you get a chocolate chip cookie and you're like, it's delicious, but then you feel almost like your teeth are rotting away just from chewing it.
Yep.
That's not overly, I don't know how you guys do it, if like you do less sugar or something, but like, good.
Usually, and that goes. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Mm.
Yeah, take another. You'll have the rest
I'm
of that,
gonna
by
get
the
the
way.
way. This is
That's gonna be
saying-
for you at the end of the show. When you agreed to get on this show, you knew that you were gonna eat some crazy shit, right? So, what we're gonna do
But
is.
we know for sure these aren't like cockroaches or something.
These are not cockroaches. On our next episode, you know, you're actually, since you're one of the first episodes, Chris, you're actually lucky because you're only tasting this level of exotic adventure food. But the next couple ones, what we're planning on doing is actually having, like what he said.
Ben Louder Dykes. Yeah, you're gonna eat some shit, man.
Yeah, I already shouted him out. So Ben, yo, stay tuned. You're up next, bro. We're gonna have cockroaches, maybe spiders, maybe tarantulas, scorpions. We're gonna go all out on the next one. But we had to take it easy on Chris on this one. And let's see this transition, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a couple of these, right? Put them on the table. This is why we have the beer. So as you guys see now, let's cheers to this. And you know, we're gonna need this. Well, you will.
Okay.
And this is the purpose of the show.
That
You
one just
Buggin.
moved? Did that just move?
It did just a little bit. I'm sorry. They're not fully cooked. Chris, I'm sorry.
Some
bro.
of these are half live?
Here we go. We're going to put it right next to your
Okay.
cookie. There we go.
Okay.
And then you could just pick out the one that you want to eat.
Alright.
Probably the most juiciest, like...
Yeah, I'll take this
The
one because it's
biggest,
the most burnt
chunkiest
and
one.
it looks the least like a living bug.
There we go. Good. So what we're going to do is, this is the part of the show, You Buggin, that we're just, interviewing,
It's
asking
literally slipping out of
questions
my
for
fingers
some
right now.
crazy... Oh, don't drop it, don't. It's already hopping out of his fingers.
Yeah,
so.
This thing
Here
does
we
not
go.
want to get eaten by me as much as I don't want to eat it.
You got it, bro. You got it. These little guys are the next big thing in protein, okay?
Alright, so we go at
So
the same
let's
time.
cheers.
On three.
There we go. And then enjoy. Bon appetit. Bones, organs. A little spicy, isn't it?
You know what? It's got a little like Szechuan to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the aftertaste, yeah, you're right, it's a little nutty.
It's a little earthy.
A little nutty.
Yep.
Not like silly, like nutty, earthy, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alright.
Not
Alright, I'll
bad,
do
isn't
one
it?
more of these.
Yeah,
I'll do another one of
it's
these.
not that bad. Wow, and it
That
tastes
one was
like...
a little more, that one like
That was a little
biting
bit
into it was
more
more like a
crunchy.
body. Like I could tell where the tail was.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? Yeah.
Dude,
All
what's
right.
the craziest food you've ever eaten before today?
So I was living in East Africa for a bit.
What?
And I don't think it's the craziest food I ever eaten, but it was the craziest like food preparation process I've been a part of.
Yeah.
Was I was in this like really remote village in a national forest. So like there wasn't a ton. Like basically it was all like locals and me. I was teaching at the school. I was helping to teach at the school.
Yeah.
And so they made fun of me because they were like, they're like, yeah, we do these cookouts, like we slaughter a goat, like we do a whole like barbecue, and we get the innards into a stew.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my god, like I eat so much meat, I've never like slaughtered an animal. That's crazy that I feel like a hypocrite. So they were like, at the time I had broken my leg, and before I went, like just before I went to South Africa, when I was traveling, I was doing some construction in Eastern Europe, and then I went over. And I cut my cast off just because I was like, I don't want to show up in a cast. I was like, stupid. I just like cut my cast off, so I was still limping a lot.
Wow.
So they got, my buddies up there, they got me, they were like, okay, like for $30, we'll buy you a goat and we'll do this cookout.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
cool. So they brought me a live goat that had 3 legs, like it was like limping on one leg, and they're
Oh,
like, it's
wow.
funny because it's like you. And I was like,
This thing was just ready to like meet its end.
it looked sad. I mean, it was like, I named him Chuckles because he like, he
Oh, you
looked
even
like he
named him?
never would like smile. I was like, he's Chuckles because he never
I think that's the
laughs.
like darkest part of it. Like you
Well,
named your food.
I didn't want to. I mean, I grew up Catholic. I didn't want to send him to the afterlife without a name or a God-given name. You know?
Oh wow.
So anyway, he's just like he's looking at me like he knows what's coming, and I was like, "This
That
is really
mercy.
tough." But yeah, the process out there is crazy. They gave me like a dull machete.
Oh shit.
2 of them held down, like one held down the head, the other one held down the legs, and like cut his head off. I was like,
Wow.
just cut his head off, you nuts. I was like, this is either gonna make me like a serial killer or a vegetarian. Like, and we did it, and it was really tough to do that way because
Wow.
like you're kind of looking in this thing's eyes and you're like,
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I'm taking your life. But at the same time, I eat so much meat that to not do this, I'd be so hypocritical. So I did it, and the weirdest part of the process was that the meat is so gamey out there because they don't like the meat is not fatty at all. So
Okay.
you have to put a ton of tenderizer, but really the good part about the meat is the intestinal stew that you make.
Yes.
And you have to braid the intestines. Yeah, so it's like you go for like, they're like, your job is to braid the intestines now that you cut it, skinned it. So I'm doing this, and you have to, it's kind of gross, you have to like pull the intestines to get the bile out
Wow.
as you braid it, and then you cut off pieces, you pull it, braid it, cut off pieces. And the last bit of the intestine, I pulled it fast, and so it just sprayed bile up and down like my face and shirt pants. And I was like, Chuckles, you got the last laugh. That's it.
Chuckles, cheers to you, brother.
You know,
Thank you so
yeah,
much
you got
for this.
me. You got me.
Wow. You know what, man? I love that you said that because, like, coming from a Hispanic family, like, menudo is what we eat. Like, it's
What is
nothing.
that? What's that?
Menudo is like almost like a stew, a Mexican stew of nothing but like pig intestines,
Like the innards. Yeah.
the
It's
inner parts
delicious
of
when
it.
you eat it, right?
You know what? And it's
Yeah.
delicious. And growing up, we didn't even know what it was. We just knew it was
Yeah.
delicious. We had corn in there. We had You know, the whole stew, we ate it with bread and lemon.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even tell. And then, you know, you would ask your elders and the people that you respected that were older than you would ask them, you know, what is this that I'm eating? And they wouldn't even tell you because they know as soon as they told you, you would, you know, change your perception right away and you would stop eating that.
Yeah.
You know,
gotta
so
watch the kids.
yeah. So it's like seeing this now. What do you think this is an easy barrier or an easy hurdle? Like, do you think Americans in the next couple of years
To
would
be really honest, looking at it after you've put it in your mouth and eaten it, like you see little eyes and stuff, it's a lot. It looks a lot like eating shellfish with the shell still on. This particular thing, because
Wow.
I mean, at the same time, you give me a tarantula that has all legs and shit sticking out. I still think it'd be like I'd be holding my eyes shut, my nose closed,
Right.
something to do it. But like, no, I get it. And if you get protein out of it and vitamins out of it, and it's a cheap alternative to other things, then I 100% get it. I still much prefer it in this form.
Yeah, right. Okay. Do you ever think that you'll get to the point to where you could just eat it like this casually?
Like that, I would just get it as a snack.
Yes, like eat it like chips.
You know what's weird? One snack that I like a go-to snack that I like that's kind of low carb.
Sure.
And I don't know why I like the taste of it so much, but that imitation crab meat.
I love that.
I get that shit
Yeah.
by the barrels, and then I just get some cocktail sauce. And
I grew up on that,
horseradish.
man.
What is that?
I don't know.
Like it's like white fishes. It's like the crappy part of fish that they put together.
It is.
Right?
It is. It's almost like that stuffing in a way, but for seafood.
100%. So I'm like, you're eating that. You know, you're eating much worse things than this, right? Because this guy, like, he doesn't go out and like put shit in his body, like so. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't put crap in his body like we do. Like
Yeah.
this thing eats what, just grass or something, or like.
You know, the crickets that we get, they're grass fed. They're
Yeah.
raised in warehouses that are climate control, temperature
Right.
control, grass fed to where they're all organic and
There's no hormones
it's-
in it.
No hormones. The
Yeah.
cool thing about crickets though is you consume the whole body, so that means the organs, the bones,
Yeah.
everything like that. That's where you get the iron. You know, crickets having more iron than spinach. That's where you get the calcium from the bones.
Right.
Having more calcium than milk. And as much as I hate this term so much, crickets are a superfood. It's just that term is just overused.
Right.
It's an overused term. You know, so what we plan to do with Gyminie is, you know, spread the awareness a little bit more. We see that our population is growing faster than ever.
Yeah.
And with that, the demand in steak and meat will go up because by no means are we saying at Gyminie's we should all stop eating steaks. Because I love steaks.
You're from Texas.
I'm from Texas. I love the quarter ounce, you know, the baby back ribs. I love all of that. What I am saying is we should look at a substitute or an alternative because with the demand in steak and meat going up, that means the price will also go up. So we want a product that's, you know, giving you your nutritional needs,
Right.
tying that with the social impact, and it's also affordable for the lower and middle class families.
Making your supplement food like a super supplement food. I
Yeah.
like that.
Absolutely. So what would you like to see next, Chris, outside of the portable protein cookie that we're launching? What would you like to see these in? Because the innovation with insects is endless. All
You
we
know
do is
what?
we grind that up and we put it into a product that you want to see. So what would you like to see next, bro?
Something that's like not overly chewy beef jerky kind of thing, like a cricket jerky. If it's like you don't see the little eyes anymore,
We haven't heard that
it's just
one
in
before.
strips. That would be cool. I would eat that. Like I would eat that going down the street.
Really?
If I knew there was like 24 grams of protein in this strip,
True.
and it's like this and that, boom, done, easy,
You would fit straight into Texas, bro. You know that?
100%.
I love it. Well, Chris, thank you so much, bro, for your time. Thank you for your good support
Thank
on
you, bro.
trying these insects, you know, in the raw, and then also our protein cookie. I love that. It was a pleasure having you.
The protein, I'm keeping this.
You're keeping that for
I'm
sure.
taking this with you.
I'm taking these with me
Oh,
because
you
this is
should
gonna
do
be
that.
for the next contestant, you know. But you know what? Seriously, I love your presence.
This
bro.
I'll keep too. I'll make some pancakes. From
Yes,
out of that. This.
you will. So we'll let you keep both of these right here. You know, would you recommend this to any of your clients that you're working with right now? Would you?
100%. If anybody ever told me like I'm looking for a vegan substitute, with what I know about this now, I've like the vegan substitutes that I eat now, I don't know really what's in there. It'll be like it's always a different kind of mix of this or that or that. And I do think eggs are good, but I think that overconsumption of just egg whites is not great, and it makes you fart
Those protein
So supplements
parts.
a little bit, yeah. Like, but like egg protein parts are its own thing.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
just
they're
like,
horrible.
Anytime you're dating somebody, you're like, please don't sleep over because I'm just like,
Oh,
it's
dude,
gonna happen.
I'll literally
It's
go
gonna
on a
happen to
date.
you. You go and eat a bunch of this stuff, you can still date women. It's
There
okay,
you go.
they won't hate
There
you.
you go. Absolutely. And I'm not sure if you have a girlfriend right now. Okay, so you don't. So then you
I work
definitely
too
have
much for a girl. Are you kidding me?
respect. I feel you
grinding.
100%, bro. Yes.
You
Okay.
know this. Yeah.
No time for that. Well, you do have a mom.
Yes.
Chris, I would love to see you bake something for your mom. Just don't tell her what's in it until the very end.
Okay.
Can we do that? Let's do that, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be some great.
You know what? I'm taking my mom to go see my niece and everything this
Ooh.
summer. I'll make some pancakes. I'll bring this
Ooh,
in my
I love
luggage and I'll
that.
make some pancakes when I'm there, and I won't tell them what it is till after.
I love it.
Yeah, my brother-in-law would dig this actually. He's a good cook. He's like this.
Wow.
Adventurous
Sounds good,
guy,
brother.
too.
Boy, it was a pleasure having you on, man.
Man, cheers.
Cheers to that. Thank you everyone for tuning in for You Buggin. I feel like I gotta say that in that ratchet form. But we're just having fun, and stay tuned for our next episode. We're gonna have another fitness influencer or maybe an eco-friendly influencer on our on You Buggin, and we're just gonna have fun and build the awareness of edible insects. Take care, you guys. Peace out.